This is my personal favourite NLC display. I've never seen anything like it since, and I can't do justice to it even with the photographs. But this is the description I wrote on my website the following day after taking a series of photographs from my old bridge camera. And it goes as follows. June 18th/19th 2009. This was the most spectacular NLC display I have ever seen in my life. I hope from reading the Noctilucent cloud article on my website that new NLC observers will understand the importance of the time of night and position of the sun, which defines the typical NLC window periods during each display, which are after sunset and before dawn. However, the lesson here is that during the middle of the night, when the sun is low, NLCs can produce scenes that are simply unbelievable. This is why any passionate NLC observer should check the sky on a regular basis all through the night for these exceptional moments. The entire display was visible from 23:30 to 03:30 British Standard Time. They peaked at Type 5 brightness and were 40 degrees or 80 full moon diameters high and extended from the northwest into the northeast sky sectors. The display first appeared during evening twilight, and as always I was out watching and taking images. This is back in a field near Maghera, which is lit by the glow of streetlights behind me, looking north and northwest. On a normal NLC night, this would have been a gorgeous sight on its own. I suspected from its visual profile that it could turn spectacular later, if only I knew what was in store a few hours into the future. It was already Type 5 brightness, with vivid pearly white and blue colours showing off. This was probably plus 50 degrees high at its tallest point, and was spreading out quickly in azimuth. Even at this stage of the evening, exceptional structure was evident in the form of bands, lacunousness holes, waves or herringbones, sometimes called billows, and large-scale whirls. The sky had turned completely overcast and very dark. I was back at home having a nice mug of tea while chatting with astronomer John C. McKenna from Northern Ireland over the phone. I kept looking out the windows on a regular basis for breaks, but none were evident. It had been a while since I had seen the display now, and knowing full well that it would get better as the night went on, I was eager to see it again. While chatting and sipping tea, I looked out to my back garden for one last look at the sky. I walked out and I rounded the corner of my house and glanced to the north and northwest, where a large clearance had suddenly appeared. What I saw took my breath away. I was completely blown away by the spectacle in the sky. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like intense Rococo-style alien writing scribed across the sky. It could have been found within the tomb of an ancient Egyptian pyramid. I went into a panic. I began making strange remarks over the phone to John, saying, oh my God, over and over again. John, you won't believe the NLC display I'm looking at right now. It's the best I've ever seen in my life. I recalled thinking that of all the images I've seen on the internet during my early years of NLC research, none of them looked like what I see now. This was a major event and I needed to get it now. I just said, John, I'm away, and the phone was back in its cradle. I grabbed the camera and tripod and ran out of my area, across a country road, and jumped into a field I had used before, where the lights illuminated the grass. I was in a complete panic with adrenaline pumping. My hands were actually shaking as I tried to clip the camera onto the tripod and work out in my head what settings I needed. Time was of the essence. NLCs changed by the minute, plus more cloud was building from the west and moving in, so I needed to act now. There was no way I was going to let this display slip past me without getting good images. The above image is the first of the sequence. These are ISO 200, aperture stopped down a little, with exposures in the 4 to 6.5 second range and various focal lengths. This was unbelievable. Despite this being the darkest time of the night, with the lowest sun elevation, I was astounded by just how much this display glowed with outstanding brilliance. The top part of the display was Type 4, with the middle and bottom sections Type 5. In other words, it was an elite example of a shadow casting display at the very top of the scale. I could actually see the ground glowing by its light, and the small patches of tropospheric cloud which drifted lazily by were also reflecting white and blue light from it. The colours were extreme, with electric blue, subtle purple, white, silver, green, a hint of yellow, and the most remarkable deep gold colour. All of these together glowing in the sky at the same time was simply stupendous. I had often fantasised about seeing a rare display like this, and on this night my dreams had come true. Look at that structure. What's more, the naked eye view was even better than what these images show, and that's saying something. I was beside myself with happiness and amazement as I stood out in this orange field during the early hours of the morning, staring in wide-eyed disbelief at this absolutely spectacular NLC display. I felt I was part of a dream, where time seemed to stand still. With the exception of that orange light in the house below, there was no sign of life in that direction, not even the sound of a distant car on the road. It was just me and the NLCs. It was a magical experience which I shall never forget. The grass was short and dry. It was calm with not even a breeze, and the countryside around me was silent. The dark outline of a bat darting in front of my face broke my trance, and I went back into reality once more. The majority of stars were washed from the sky from the phenomenal intensity of this display, which I could see vividly with phenomenal detail on my camera's LCD screen. Just about every type of NLC structure possible is present here. Thanks to its incredible complexity, which cast shadows onto other sectors of the NLC display, the entire scene looked three-dimensional with eye-catching depth. Among all the patterns, my favourite kind of all prevailed, the large and small scale whirls or twists. A complex NLC display is always at its most spectacular when you see it side on from an oblique angle. If you wait until it creeps overhead, then your viewing angle has dramatically changed, so you're looking at the NLCs from underneath, like the underside of a tenuous blanket. In my opinion, it's the oblique displays which are truly the most visually spectacular, and this one was the ultimate example. Blue on top, white at centre, and gold colour beginning to register on camera at the bottom, like sand on a beach. On display are sharp-edged 2B bands, shadows, small-scale whirls, large-scale whirls, loops, pits, lacunosus holes, well-defined waves and billows with kinks, also knots, billows crossing a band, veil, and even unknown structure, which I have never seen before. This looked extremely alien to me. The notion of the NLCs were absolutely beautiful. This thing actually moved fast. The entire display was moving, not as a single entity, but different areas moving independently from one another. The central regions were twisting in a circular motion like a garden sprinkler, while other sections moved horizontally or vertical as they all interacted like a living, breathing system. Not a single star was visible through this. I knew I was looking at the display of a lifetime. I thought about any late-night drivers navigating across the quiet roads through Northern Ireland this night. They would have seen this without a doubt and wondered what was going on in the sky. I'm sure late-night truck drivers were chatting over the Seabees. There's serious gravity wave motion taking place through the mesosphere here to create these forms. Mother Nature is absolutely incredible. The detail in this display is beyond me to describe. I've never seen anything like it before in my life, and I do wonder if I will ever see anything like it again. A display of this standard is an extremely rare event. So for this reason, and the fact that no one else got a show like this, my attention was drawn to the wave-like motions to the right, and the blue feature which looks like a bubble, which has just popped in a network of electric blue suns. You would be forgiven for thinking there was intelligence behind this design, and perhaps there was. I later found out that someone else had posted one of these images on a religious forum as proof of God. I don't like to comment on such things, however it was nice of them to use it in that context, which I don't mind at all. I'm not a religious person myself, however, when I was watching this glowing, moving matrix of brilliance, I did feel like I was watching the handiwork of an intelligent creator, or perhaps a painter. After this, the cloud moved in and turned the sky overcast, but I was not disappointed, because what I had just seen was unforgettable. In fact, I can't find words to describe the display and do it justice, so I hope the images will speak for themselves. Dawn was approaching, the sky was getting bright, and the NLCs were blending in with the bright twilight. This brings to an end the most stunning NLC display I have ever seen. It will never be forgotten. However, much to my surprise, there were very few images from the UK showing the display this night, so I was the only person who got to see it at its absolute best, at least as far as I'm aware of. I really was very lucky with the weather, because areas around the coast and further south had thicker cloud, with the best of the clear sky over central parts of Northern Ireland where I live. Some observers did get a taster of it, like Andrew Pethian from Aberdeen, UK, who wrote, "Hoping there's still space for some more NLCs. As Martin McKenna says, it was the display of a lifetime. Shadows indeed. It was actually the first time I'd ever seen these, but it was better than any photos I've seen up till now. Incredibly bright and stunningly detailed." Unquote. Thank you very much for listening.